to do more hard for me. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Uh, I have been, chatting a lot with people and bringing feedbacks and everything. And I see, the point is, there are a lot of people they want to speak and to practice English, and they feel a lack of that in their um, around them, especially um, that's what I have been telling people for the past years. There's no such thing as best teacher, best methodology, best school, best platform. It just
Yeah.
has the platform that suits you better, or the teacher that suits you better, or that you find interesting to be around. So that's why uh, communities are so important to me, because it's not about if it's Cambly, Open English, or Talk and Talk. I don't care. If you feel better in Talk and Talk, stay here. If you don't, just go to other places. We don't want you here if you do not feel good about it. If you do not look at me and understand and like what I have been doing, and you disagree completely, there's no need to stay. So I think that's the main reason why people jump from places to places. They think they're gonna find the golden pot, you know, and with that golden pot, everything else is gonna disappear, and all the problems are being solved. And it's not like that. Even traveling abroad, living in another country. I was talking to the other guy in the other platform, and like moving to Canada, it's not the big deal to solve my problems. Not looking for that, but most people they are. I just found on an influencer Instagram account. She was telling that most couples when they move to another country they break up, and of course they will. It's obvious, you know. And that's the main reason why before getting here, I get like a test on some things to be around and to be more in touch and everything else. Because uh, figuring that out abroad, it's gonna be 100% failure. So if you're not used, or if you, even though those situations, they're gonna happen, whether we like it or not. So what you're looking for to live abroad. If you have no idea and that's your dream to live abroad, and that's the only dream you have, then I'm sorry, but that's failure 100%.
But what do you think is the most important point that cause a couple breakup, for example, when they go abroad?
Lack of self-awareness for each other, for each individual. It's not the other person, it's yourself. Oh, always yourself. You do not change people, you change yourself, you know? Do not change people. You just change yourself. Changing yourself, changing the environment, and also change people. Even though this change might be breaking up the relationship.
Yeah.
That happened to me to lots of relationships. So if you don't have the same goal, if you're not going the same direction, even though they are different things, you need to go the same direction. I don't care if, oh, I want to have a business and the other person's gonna have a regular job.
Yeah.
It can be, but it can be the same direction, you know?
Yeah.
But how do you find direction? Self-awareness. You study yourself. You present yourself first. You try to find out who you are, what you're looking for, what do you want to be in 5 years. Those interview questions that most people hate and blame about. So don't you know where you want to be next year? So do not blame your shitty life. It's your fault. Your life is your fault. It's your responsibility. Oh, but my mother, my mom, my girlfriend, my wife, my spouse, my husband, my children, my dog, my parrot, the government, Lula, Bolsonaro, Papa, the church, they are all important, of course. But it comes from the inside to the outside. And if you do not know how to communicate yourself, then there's no solution. The solution comes from the inside, and the outside, you need to speak, you need to write, you need to act, you need to execute, you need to do something. So do something every single day. And then in 10 years, you're going to see, you're looking backwards, and I changed my life completely. I did when I decided to jump out of the boat I was, to quit my career. I didn't quit my career. I quit myself. I killed myself, my old version. Now I'm a 8-year little boy in a different scenario, living a different thing. I have the life most people are willing to have. Remote job, like living abroad. I have European citizenship, speak 3 languages, learning 4th. Like, I do not spend time on traffic, public transportation. I have a beautiful and good relationship that was based on trust and honesty that is being built each day by day. The communication, it's always key. It's the basic thing. It's not love. It's not sex. It's not beauty. It's conversation. It's communication is the key. Me and my girlfriend, we have the relationship because of communication, period. Not because we love each other. Of course, it's important. But this is hard to speak in English, you know? This is how you achieve fluency and you get better in English. I don't know how to speak like that in Spanish, but I'm building it up.
Yeah, I entered in this conversation and I was thinking about the topic that I was looking on the planner, and it was about remote work. And now I have a lot of work that I never heard about it, and a conversation about everything. So yeah, it's curious how communication is, it's really interesting, even in another language that you don't I don't know fluent or something like that. But yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah. When you go to deep topics, it's something that like I can speak nowadays in English as I'm speaking in Portuguese. I think about pretty much the same. I do not feel any bad feeling about it. It just flows. And in
Yeah,
Spanish, it doesn't. You feel that. That's how I measure fluency, you know? So I am fluent in Spanish, but I'm still like exercising myself. In July, I'm going to start having Spanish conversations daily from Monday to Friday, lunchtime. So why is that? Because I can. And I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna see how it's going to be in July, the entire July, every single day from Monday to Friday. That's what I tell students. Oh, you wanted to develop fluency? Speak every single day. And yeah. And next week I'm gonna try the Italian. I'm gonna start the Italian. Now it's killed. bug killed. I'm gonna start Italian immersions next week. So let's see if it's gonna be easier than French, because I'm fighting against French so hard. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think it's more it's easier because I think it's similar with Spanish and Portuguese, and I think the grammar is simple. Yeah, it's simple also. So yeah, I think it will be more easier for you.
Yeah. And for you, what do you want to do for the next years? Like next year, do you have plans for next year?
Uh, yeah, I have some plans, but it are specific points. I actually I don't know specifically what I go in the next year because I prefer to plan myself with an in a in the current year. So I have the plan for this year, and I have some idea of what I want to do in the next year in the next years. But I really like to plan exactly what I can do just in about 1 year, for example. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's important to have an idea what you can do and what you want to do in the next years, but I think it's complicated for me to analyze for 5 years and what I will do that. I think it can change it a lot. It can change a lot. So I prefer to analyze this year, for example. It's more touchable, I guess, to to work with that.
Yeah. For the next year, um I want to visit other countries and to spend some time like here and there to have money to, oh, I want to go for 2 weeks and go and I'll be back to Brazil. I want to have this opportunity and more than that, I want to start the meetups in other cities. So yesterday I just deployed in the website the menu meetup, and we're gonna have a on-site conversation practice here in Toronto. And I want to bring that to other places, and I want to visit all these places. So in order to start a new city, I want to go to this city to bring
Yeah.
the how can I say uh the setup, with the onboarding kit to the leader that's going to develop. So I also have, this background's been great. So I love that. It's not because I did, but it's, yeah, I love that. So I'm gonna use it. So the person who's gonna handle the meetups once a month or once in a while, still don't know. We are going to develop that in each city. The person's gonna take part in the annual competition as well. So it's going to be nice. And the sense of community will grow. And I have lots of good expectations about it. We are going to develop a new platform for the next year, entirely from scratch, using Wix still, but with other features, other things to help us out to develop other experiences, especially that you mentioned before. How can we connect people for 10 minutes each time, you know, for free? So can we do things for free, like just for a tasting, so the person uses it and then you can use it back again next month, so you use it once a month. So there are lots of things on, like, doing the product itself. It's easy. Everybody has good ideas. Like Facebook was a good idea, but to turn it out as a meta platform, it's a completely different game. It's completely so.
Yeah.
Uber, Airbnb, Couchsurfing, other startups, PayPal, Zoom. So the product itself, it's simple. It's obvious. To turn it into a company, a business, profitable, it's a different game. A different game.
Yeah. Connect all the dots, it's complicated.
Yeah. Like building websites, it's easy. Make the website to run like millions of dollars each month or just millions in a year, and it's a completely different game. Everybody wants things for free, but they do not attach. It's not sustainable. And I can prove it. 6 years of test to prove it.
Yeah. You asked me about what I will do next year, what I want to do. I was thinking that maybe in the next year I will be in Miami, I I guess. So it's a good point. I will try for that.
Yeah, you can do it, man. You
But
can do it. You can
yeah,
do it. The idea is
but
really, I guess for the next year, for the annual competition, I'm gonna bring something like London, Ireland, or Dublin, and but I just want to make partnerships with agencies that they can
yeah,
offer the place somehow, so we can offer the tickets and also the place for the person to stay for 1 to 2 weeks, you know, or an exchange program somehow or something like that. Because in order to go to Miami, you need passport. Do you have passport?
yeah,
Do you have visa? US visa?
no, no,
So if you
visa
if
no.
you do not, yeah, if you do not have US visa, for example, in the competition, you're not going to have the reward, you know. So in order, you need to be ready to go. Otherwise, we're gonna spend money and you're not gonna use it, so it's gonna be pointless.
Yeah. But about the this platform that you use, what did you like the most about this idea?
That's simple. It's simple. That's what caught my eyes attention. It's simple. You start and there you go. But
There's no
uh,
topic, right? It's
no,
just enter and conversation. Yeah.
mm,
Cool.
people are gonna have the same issues they had here in the past, you know, and that they like this is something obvious. Everybody does that already for free. It's cool at first, but after 6 months, like you develop and you carry other features and everything, and yeah, but has potential. Has potential. We
Yeah.
should have something like that, like as a premium. Uh, like we could just like with the the subscription, you can have uh 10-minute private sessions or 15, whatever,
Yeah.
included, you know.
Yeah. I think it seems like the private sessions that we have here. But yeah, it's for all people, not just to do the appointment with a mentor or I don't know, a host, for example. It's more free, I guess.
Yes, exactly.
And for sure
E
it's easier to use to get in. It's simple. It's really simple.
yeah, you just
So that's
connect
great.
and yeah. We could have like find a speaker option, and then would pop up to your face someone connected, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and just it's just 10 minutes, so someone see the pop-up and enter and do the conversation and leave. And yeah, it's just 10 minutes. It's, it's quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, 10 minutes, it's really quick.
Yeah. It's a great idea.
Yeah. And when you develop a product, it's like that. When there's potential, you know people are gonna use it. We in the beginning, we had like almost 100 people in a meeting, one single meeting. People
100?
would 100,
Wow.
100. It was terrible. We didn't have
Yeah,
questions
it's a
prepared.
mess.
Questions, they were not prepared. So we were like just popping up the questions like as an announcement for the breakout rooms. It was a completely mess.
Yeah.
But now,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
nowadays we have like a structure that works, you know.
Yeah, I think the point is not about the quantity, the amount of the people. In this case, it's more like the quality for conversation, the time of conversation. For example, I prefer a lot to do a conversation like this with just another person, besides then another group conversation with 4 or 5 persons, 4 or 5 people, because I have more time to speak and to listen and to focus on the conversation. Uh, so for conversation in practice, you're listening and you're speaking. I think it's better. So yeah, I think it's not about the amount of people. It's just the organization and the quality of the conversation, the time of conversation. I think it's better.
Yeah. And yeah, there are a lot of things around that. Um,
Let me ask you a question.
yeah.
I was thinking now. What do you think comparing? I don't know if it's fair comparing, but what do you think comparing group conversations like we have here on Talk and Talk and the private session? What do you think is the better of what people like most? And I don't know, just a maybe unfair comparing.
It's like, what's better, to talk to a friend or to talk to a stranger?
But you can do that in both, no? You
Yeah,
can talk with a
but
friend in private session and group session.
yeah, but I mean, like in a real life in Portuguese, what's better for most people? What they do like most? That's your
Ah,
question.
for
So,
sure, with a
w-
friend.
so the point of the group and private session is the private session, it doesn't bring you the feeling of talking to a stranger in the public with other people judging you. The private conversation, it's more comfortable
Yeah,
because you're not live and you just have one person. Uh, it can be challenging just in a way that you have no idea how to speak in English. If you don't have the language, then it's gonna be a challenge and something unattainable in both situations. But for me, the fluence, it comes from group sessions,
yeah,
especially because
yeah.
you do not talk too much as you do in a private session. You need to pay attention. People, they don't want to pay attention on other people. They just want to focus on their self because they're selfish. It's not
Yeah,
wrong or bad to be selfish, but in order to live in
yeah,
society, you need to think and pay attention on other people. So when you see someone that wants to talk, as I'm doing in here right now, um, and when that's not the same situation, but a person who is willing to learn and wants just to speak, if you think about it, you're gonna see that other areas of their lives, they are selfish as well. They're selfish with their family, they're selfish with the environment, they throw out trash on the streets, they do minor stealings, you know. So the behavior we have up front tells a lot about the back front we have.
Mhm. Yeah, I was thinking about the point that you said about comfort, and yeah, I really think that the private session is more comfortable, mainly because on private sessions you know who is the other people, the other person that you will talk with. So it's really comfortable to 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 do a conversation with just one person, and when this person you know the accent, and you know how this person speaks. And in the group session it's more complicated because you don't know who who you'll be there. So it's more complicated. It's a lot of accents, a lot of English levels, and a lot of different people. And that's real life. Actually, that's the real life. When you talk in English, you do that. So yeah, it's more real, I guess. And yeah, it's I like the private session because it's more time to talk, but yeah, I think it's more real in the group session.
Yeah, in the group session, it brings an opportunity to learn communication, English, um, respect, empathy.
Yeah.
When I see someone just uh, dropping the connection or dropping the room, just because people there are so beginner to speak with, they are losing lots of opportunities because they're gonna face beginners in real life as well. I
Yeah.
do not take for granted people that are, in my opinion, they know less than me. Actually, I do the opposite. So what I feel is, yeah, I might be utopic, and I guess I am in lots of ways, but I see that people they are not caring about each other somehow, and in some place in the history of the earth, we're gonna extinct our race as human beings just because of communication, lack of communication, and selfishness. And there might be one day that we are going to see like either we all finish everything or either we solve all the problems, the basic problems that we have as poverty, as violence, as corruption, mental health issues, you know, racism.
Actually, I think we are doing that right now. I think it will not be on the future. I think we are doing nowadays, and it's complicated. And I really think that it's not just we are doing that right now. We are doing that um, since the past, since the beginning of the of your race, beginning of your uh, I don't know how to say species in English, but yeah, something like that.
Species,
Species,
species.
species. Yeah. So yeah, we are doing that. Yeah, I don't know if all the points it's about the decisions that we have, but I think it's the most important point or the main point. So we are doing that, and uh, we will we are gonna do that on the future also. So yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, uh lately I have been too pessimistic, too pessimistic. Yeah. I've heard like Bill Gates telling that we are much better than we were before, but
yeah, for sure.
uh I see lots of people like damaging each other, creating harm, that I sometimes feel like, yeah, I know it's just a small part of population that does that.
Yeah,
Like in general, like 97%, 98% of people are good people, but the 2% are evil somehow. So I take this 2% in another level and I take it personal.
yeah. But I think it's because the outlines um, create you an attention, or I don't know how to say that, but it seems like that you bring more your attention on our outline, and I think it's normal. But yeah, sometimes it happens to me also. So in some cases, it's complicated to see some kind of attitudes and some kind of actions that the human being do, and it's complicated to think about how it will be in the future. And yeah, it's complicated. It's a complicated topic. It's a complicated situation also.
Yeah. Especially because we just have the view of what we have, each other, me and you, it's just a very, very small, tiny detail of the whole picture, the big picture. So
Yeah, sure.
yeah,
Yeah. And
but
in in general, we are just a point, just a small, really small thing in the universe. So it's complicated also thinking what we can do, I guess. So maybe we can do a lot of things for changing all the world. So it's it's hard to think about this this kind of this kind of thing. Yeah, life is not easy, so we do what what you can.
yeah, we do. Actually, everything's up to us, and that's what I was telling at first. Self-awareness, it's key for everything else. It's really like there's no way to, especially if you're driving, you want to do something else of your life, self-awareness. So that's my focus since I decided to change my life in September 2014. I focused on myself all the time. Like not when I say focus on myself, I mean understanding myself, trying to figure out who I am, why do I do this, why do I do that, sharing this with people, and by the feedbacks and by the conversations I have, I get to know me better. And that's something I want to do in the fluency speed program, like the 306-degree feedback between the students. So you're
Yeah,
going
it's a
to,
really
and that's another idea that it came up to my mind, like to have a secret Santa by the end of the year, but instead of gifts, you are going to give a feedback about other people's English or Spanish. So we're gonna random everybody, and then you're gonna know someone that you want to assess their level or their, like, you're gonna bring a feedback. You're gonna prepare feedback for this person. And then we're gonna gather people together just to talk about that. So imagine you get me on Secret Santa, and then you just, oh, so I was paying attention on Philip's English, and for me, and then I bring the structure that you can use in order to have something to follow. Otherwise, it's gonna be painful. People are going to, do some shit about it.
Yeah,
But like you bring something good and you bring something to develop. And then yeah, something like that. Because you're gonna need to be in other people's room to pay attention. You need to study the person speaking. That's a
yeah,
nice idea, by the way.
yeah.
That's
It's
a
been
nice
great.
idea.
I think this point about feedback is so important. Actually in the most interviews that I participate, the interviewers ask me about what I think is the most important point or the main points uh, that I think in a company, in a job with a programmer or something like that, in a teamwork. And I think feedback is one of the most important points because sometimes you don't know what you doing good and what you are doing bad. So to actually to receive this feedback, it's important to to know what you are and where you can go. So this kind of um, knowledge about yourself and how the people see you. I think it's so important. It's a it's a really important thing.
So this is a real conversation that we could have if most of the post students um they are not too attached to the questions. We don't need questions to guide the conversation.
For sure.
But as I mentioned, questions are a guidance. You don't need to follow. And some people, especially the talkers, the participants, they sometimes they bring feedbacks like, oh, we didn't have time to finish all those 10 questions. We need more time. I wish I got the feedback once. Oh, I wish we could have like meetings of 2 hours. We can't just pay more for it. Like to have a conversation like with, you know,
Yeah.
if you're using people's time, there's always a price. You know, if you're spending your
Yeah.
time here to practice English, so yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. Yeah, it was.
Uh, I was thinking about the point of to have questions or guidance or a topic, and I really like this way for conversation and real conversation. I love to do that on my Spanish immersion, for example, when people like that. Because I think it's pretty real when you are speaking in this way. I think it's close to the real life when you will use the language. So I like a lot, but I think the guidance and the topic and the questions are so important because nowadays I think on the questions. As an opportunity to prepare myself in a real conversation like that. I don't have a lot of opportunities or a great opportunity to prepare myself uh, and to improve my English compared to the guidance and the questions. So yeah, this kind of information is so important also to have the guidance, the question, and have the opportunity to prepare your English and improve your English, focus on the conversation, it's great also. So yeah, I think both it's great.
Yeah. There's always room for development.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just different ways.
Yeah. Warley, I want to thank you for this conversation. It was really good. I hope to see you back again in the near future. And yeah, it was better than you expected, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It was better than talking about remote work, I guess. It was
Yeah,
real. It's a real topic. It was great.
yeah, yeah. So see ya.
See you, Phil. Thank you a lot.
Bye bye.